Pepper's observing, make sure everything's going right. I love this family. I love this place.
21. So I'm just using a step bit now to drill my big hole.
Everybody, I don't know if I've talked about these or not. RUUVI, R-U-U-V-I.
Things are supposed to be sealed, but they do get moisture inside them. If you take an 1/8" drill bit.
On torquing your lug nuts, you can get these ones that's got a plastic coating on them and thin walled also. There's a nut right here, and it's on a shock. That one. There's also one on the other end of that. On a number of occasions where someone is missing that nut. This bolt right here, and you have another one right here. It's the arm, and this is the rail that it slides in and out of. So basically what happens is this horseshoe part is inside the roof ceiling, so it goes in the hole. This pushes up against the bottom of it, and it clamps it together with these screws. Here you can see I have the original hose, original holder part, and the new shutoff valve.
It's not good enough for me.
It's not.
No.
I've made it back to Dadeville, Alabama. Ronnie Dennis. This is a new shop. Last time we were here, this was just a field and hadn't been built yet. And Miss Mark and Trish, KYD, they just left a few days ago, but I came through here. I want to stop by and see these guys. I really love the Dennis family. It's such a wonderful group of humans, and I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit and invade their space. Pepper's observing, make sure everything's going right. Hey everybody, I'm here with this awesome guy again, Ronnie. Not me. No. I love this family. I love this place, and I stopped in here kind of unexpectedly. Was going to just rotate my tires. We ended up putting a lift kit on and going to get a few other things here before I tear off. But I'm forever grateful for you, Ronnie, for all the things you do for this community and me, and what you're doing for the world. So I'm grateful to call you a friend.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And for clarity, he did say he was coming. He emailed me a month out and said, "Hey man, by the way, I'm coming through."
Yeah. But I love the new shop. It's beautiful here. I really appreciate this thing because I want to build something like this on some property I got out in Texas. But I don't know that it'll be 3 bays, but at least be 1 bay.
It's nice.
Barn dominium is what I want to have. It's like a house up the top and be able to park my trailer in it. But it's nice to be able to come inside and do some work. And if you visited Ronnie before he got the shop done, you know what working outside meant in all types of weather, getting jobs done. But now he's got this beautiful spot here. So
it's nice. We appreciate the facility for sure. It's nice to have it.
If you need some big electrical build done, like all the work that I did on my trailer, the inverter, battery, all the upgrades that I did, this is the first phone call I made to say, hey, here's what I'm thinking of doing. I sent him an email and he called me back and said, yep, all that stuff works. Think about this, think about that. And he pointed me in the right direction. So he has been my 411, 911, and 811 many, many times. So I'm always grateful for the opportunity to chat with you. So
sure.
If you don't know, Mark and Trish were just here to do some big build on their new trailer, and I'm excited for the world to see that too.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's this multiple week series, I think. So
yeah, it should be at least 2 full weeks on the build.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're in the wild now, so that trailer's out there working and doing its thing. So it's good stuff.
Out doing fun, but I did not put a lift kit on this trailer when I bought it, and on purpose I didn't do one because I didn't think I needed it. But in the last few months, we've been a few places where I've come close to scraping the bumper or trying to back in somewhere, and I caught the back bumper. So I decided if I get the opportunity, I'll throw one in. But and I'm gonna purchase a few other cool things, and I'll put those on a video later as I install them myself. But thank you again, Ronnie, for all your time, and looking forward to Tara getting back over here and saying hello again to her too.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks.
No problem, man.
I just left Ronnie Dennis's place, Airstream Nuts and Bolts, again for the second time. I was there the other day for couple of things. I got some new Airkrafter vents. I picked up a few from him. I'm going to install those, and I am going to install, I don't have the camera yet, but I'm going to install the Ford trailer camera system on my bumper. And he has a method to punch that out, and you can see that right here.
21. So I'm just using a step bit now to drill my big hole. All right, so now let's pick the bumper up, Drake, and set this guy back over here.
Set the bumper on.
Set the
Yeah.
bumper back down. Put a little guy in here, like so.
You ready? Yep.
Hold the bumper.
It's a beautiful hole.
It does a good job.
Also, I chatted with Ronnie about moisture in here. I don't know that I've ever showed this, but he has the same philosophy I have. Just take your 1/8 inch drill bit and drill a hole, and the lowest point right here as close to the trailer as possible in the red or amber lens cap. Just make sure you don't poke a hole into the LED board. And here's what Ronnie has to say about that.
Ask about humidity and clearance lights and how to help fix it. Well, obviously these things are supposed to be sealed, but they do get moisture inside them. Changes in environment, changes in temperature, things like that, you'll see condensation inside them. If you take an 1/8 inch drill bit and drill a hole at the lowest point right here in the bottom, you can just drill one through the bottom. You gotta be real careful. Don't let the bit get away from you and go in, because there's an LED board in there, but you can just punch a hole through it and it allows it to breathe. Won't let water get in it, and it'll keep the condensation out of it.
And here I'm going to go around and do all my whole trailer. Let me get my ladder so we can get up top. Also, while I got my bumper off, there's a little bit of corrosion here and on the bolt here that holds the bumper on, so I'm going to take that off. And there's the hole that we punched in the bumper today. I'll still have to do the same thing back here, but that's for a later day. Everybody, I don't know if I've talked about these or not. RUUVI, R-U-U-V-I. I have two of these in my refrigerator. One's in the freezer, one's in the refrigerator. And this one I'm going to put right here in this access panel to my, that's where the gray tank, black tank's up there, but I'm going to put it in there. Why I'm doing this? So I have access to these things on my phone, and I will show you, I will screen record what it is, setting it up. It's quite simple to set up on your iPhone, Apple, whatever you have, smart device. And if I have the Servo GX installed, and I can also attach it to that. Why am I putting this in here? I was chatting with Ronnie Dennis this morning, and we just talked about various uses for it. And he said, I put one of those in my black and gray tank, so I know when my heater's running, legitimately what it's doing, and is it really putting heat down there. So it's a good measuring device for that. So I don't know yet what I'm gonna do when I get this panel open, but it comes with some screws that you can screw it into. I'm likely just gonna use these command strip, and I got the outdoor double sticky side, so I may just attach it like that and we'll go from there. But let's get it opened up so you can see what's in there. Oh, I got some patellar tendonitis and it hurts like the dickens. Depending on the model you have, this may be a access panel underneath, but sometimes it's on the side. Nope. And you may find some fun things in there from the production of your trailer. Often screws. And I can see I'll show you my GoPro. That is the tank sensor on my gray tank. So I also have the same access panel is right here on the black tank. on this 27-foot model. And just so you're aware, so there's a screw fill out. This is on the underneath. This is styrofoam and styrofoam here. This is what holds your tank secured in that whole pan. So I'm just going to take this, double-side tape it, and attach it. Now the ones I have on the inside by the fridge, they are they have humidity sensors on them. This one does not, so it's fully enclosed and fully sealed, so you can always see what it is. But you can put this in your bumper. You can put this really anywhere. But I just want to verify that my tank is getting the proper heat when I have the heater on. I have the app. The app is here. It's called RUUVI Station here. And you can see my other two. So my freezer is currently at 8.5 degrees and my refrigerator is at 38.82. So now I want to add a device, add a new sensor, and it's going to test and see. There's one right there. So that's my new one. I'm going to take a photo of that. Claim ownership, so it's my device. I'm going to take a photo just of the tank. Use photo. I'm going to change the name of it to Gray Tank. Okay. And I'm going to set my temperature to anything less than 34 degrees. We're over like 115. We'll see what happens there. And you can turn on notifications for that. So there's my sensor. There's my freezer. There's all of my sensors. So now I can see them all on my device and tell me what it is. My Gray Tank is currently 84 degrees. So let's put these screws back in. One more thing I want to do today, having just put the lift kit on, I've driven 8 or 10 miles. I'm going to check my torque on my lug nuts again, and I'll keep the lug nut wrench out. So most of you, if you have a new trailer, you have a sticker right here on your fender well that says torque them at 10, 15, and 25 miles after you have ever removed the lug nuts, or after you have changed the tire, or after you have rotated the tire, or any reason to take the tire off. Check your lug nuts. On torquing your lug nuts, you can get these ones that's got a plastic coating on them and thin walled also. Not that big a deal on the international wheels, but if you have a flying cloud, they're sunk in there, so you have to put something in, and it's very easy to scratch your rims every time you check your torque on your lug nuts. But these will be linked down below along with the torque wrench we use. Nothing special about either one. It's just if you've got a flying cloud specifically, you need because the lug nuts are recessed in the wheel, you need a thin wall, and I recommend getting these with the plastic coatings so you don't scratch anything up. I check mine typically before every trip. I've only found one loose a few times. But while you're torquing your lug nuts and while you're doing your walk around to make sure that all the things are right in the world with your trailer, there's a nut right here, and it's on the shock. That one. There's also one on the other end of that. And there's one for the front tire. If you have a dual axle, you have one here and one in there. I have seen on a number of occasions where someone is missing that nut. And it's a 1/2 inch by 13 flange nut with coarse threads. Oftentimes people will replace them with a locking nut and a washer. You can buy that bolt typically at a auto parts store or get it on Amazon. You can also get that same thing in a locking nut. But if you ever take them off, it's a simple thing to put right back on. Just make sure that they're there, because this one on the right-hand side of your trailer or the curb side is typically the top right one on this side is the one that's most often missing. And I don't know why that is. But that is the case, and I've seen it missing here a few times. And I've gotten a number of emails about people who found theirs missing, so please check yours and torque your lug nuts and take care of your trailer. Hey everyone, welcome to Under My Steps. So where your main steps come out, one thing you may want to consider is this bolt right here, and you have another one right here. It's the arm, and this is the rail that it slides in and out of. So sometimes people have had this bolt fall out, And Airstream, I think, started putting an access panel in here. You have to cut out some of this to get to that bolt if it does fall out, because it falls out that way. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this punch and I'm going to punch a spot on the threads. So in the case they do start to back out, they won't go too far because they've been punched. So join me for that. And I'm just going to hit this little thread right here. Now the other side. All right, I got them scoring just a little bit, so that should work for not backing out. Hey friends, I'm going to install something that I have procrastinated in buying for a long time because they are not cheap in any stretch of the imagination. But I had a really good visit with Ronnie Dennis today at Airstream Nuts and Bolts. I stopped by there. I'm actually staying at a campground about 10 minutes from his place right now. But Ronnie and Tara, thank you so very much for allowing me to interrupt your day and be a part of your day. And I appreciate the help. But he had a box sitting there with all these parts in it. And I'm like, what you got going on over here? So I purchased some of these cool vents from Airkrafters. Now, I went back and forth about this time and time again. And should I get them or should I not? And do I want them or do I not? But are they worth the cost? I don't know the answer to that. Time will tell. But one of my mentors in the world, who has an Airstream and has done so many upgrades to his trailer, said, "Hey, it's one of the best upgrades I've ever done." And yes, they are pricey, but it makes a big difference in the airflow and all that kind of stuff. So I bit the bullet today and purchased enough of these for my trailer. Now I purchased 6 of them. I still have 2 more vents in this area and 1 more vent in the bathroom that I'm not going to put the Airkrafters in. So I'm going to see how this works and how it looks. The 2, because I have 6 right here in the main cabin area. These 2 right above, 2 in the middle, and 2 back there. So it seems like there's extra vents here. But what I'm going to do is block off the 2 middle ones, or I'm going to put a piece of tape up in there so it's not really noticeable, but they won't be able to open up as much. There's still some airflow out of them, but we'll see how these work. And then up in the bedroom, I only have 2 vents up there, so those are pretty easy to install. But I'm going to show you how this works and show you what you have to do and get them put on. Typically at the very front and the very back of the vent, if you move this thing around, you can see there's a little hole there. And if I spin it around, there's a hole here, but I can move this gray part to get it fully open, and I can see the hole. I can see there's a rivet there, and there's a rivet on 2 sides. So these things are riveted in. So you need to drill this out. And I got to get my safety glasses on here so I don't get any of these shavings in my eye. And I really like to use a paper plate so that I don't spill these little shavings everywhere, because I don't want them to get in Piper's feet or my feet or anywhere else. So it's kind of it's hard to see. All right, 1's drilled out. Got those off. Now this thing will just pop out. It pulls right out. So here and here are the rivet holes for your air conditioned vent. And you can see that these things are not always uniform. They're stamped out. The holes are. And the Airkrafter itself will fit here. And it looks good, but you got to be careful because one rivet will be out, the hole right there, or some part of that will be. So you have to get it lined up right to make it look good. But one other thing you need to do, I'm going to put a rivet in one of these holes, so when I set the Airkrafter up there, it's not noticeable that there's a hole. There will just be a rivet in that section. I'm going to put it up here in front. And what I hope to do is cover this one up, and then this one can be exposed. So let me get the horseshoe part. So basically what happens is this horseshoe part is inside the roof ceiling, so it goes in the hole. This pushes up against the bottom of it, and it clamps it together with these screws, and we'll put the screws in. So Ronnie gave me a technique to put them in, and I'll share that technique with you. So I put my screw in, and I put my horseshoe on. Now I want that where it says Airkrafters, I want that towards the middle right here, so I got to be mindful where that's going to be. So I'm going to put the horseshoe here, so it points right there where that rivet is, and use this little tool to screw these in. Barely screw it in. So now I'm going to put this in the hole and spin this thing around so it fits right inside the ductwork there. And I'll spin this around. And I got that in the hole now. Now I center that up so I can see all the way around and make sure there's no openings underneath or visible from that. And then I will tighten. Oh, I'm going to put the other screws in there first. This is very taxing on your shoulders, by the way. And you have to make sure that you have a visible screw all the way around, or visible screw hole, I should say, all the way around. Okay, so now that's lined up. Now I know that all my holes will be lined up. There's some rubber gasket right here on the back of this, and that sits flush against the roof, so that's what you have to push those little screws through. So now that's there, and it looks flush, and I don't see any gaps of any kind back here or over here. So now I'm going to tighten all these down. So now it's there. Now you can point this thing in any direction. You can open or close them, and we'll see how this thing works. I'm going to get the rest of them installed and turn the air conditioning back on so we can see what's up. So I ended up going back and getting the other two vents from Airkrafters. I went back to Ronnie's place and got two more. So I now have 8 installed instead of 6. I could have really left out this one because there's one there, one here, and one here. I just wish Airstream would have only put 4 vents in this section of the room instead of 6. I don't think there needs to be 6. I think 4 would be plenty sufficient for this size of room. If you got 1 in the bathroom, 2 in the bedroom, and 4 back here, that's more than enough. So I'm not sure why they put 6 of them back here. But if anybody needs the former covers that I had, please let me know. I can ship them to you. As costly as these things are, they are absurd what they cost. Absolutely absurd. There's a number of different knockoff brands you can get on Amazon for a fraction of the price. I don't know that those things are made of quality material. I don't know that they have a proper seal on the backside so it doesn't rub and scratch your roof. I don't know how they attach. I don't know anything about them other than I've just seen them. I think these are a good thing. I was, again, skeptical of them before, but I like that I can direct the air. I like that I can completely shut off a vent if I need to. And it really comes into play in the wintertime, or really hot summertime for that matter, but mostly wintertime. If you got the heat pumps on, and you probably have seen my video on how I kind of heat the room, but if you close off a curtain and you have one or both of your air conditioners or heat pumps on, I can very quickly close off all these vents, and they are for real closed off. They're not just still leaking air, but they are really closed off. And it will direct all the air pressure coming out the other 2 vents or the other vents in one end of the room. So I like that I can direct the air pointed towards the thing. It really does help cool the room down quicker. I'm now somewhere near a month of having them installed, and I'm very happy. Like every time we've stopped and set up and it's been hot in the summer, I've cranked up the air condition. It gets the rig cooler significantly faster than it did before. So I like them. I think they're neat. And if you can afford them and you want to afford them, I guess that's the more thing. If you want to afford it, go for it. I've had a bunch of people ask me about the shower head. Am I happy with the shower head? it's fun. It's not a super great pressure, or you can't change the spray pattern, but it works. But I have used others in the past, and I got a new one today, so I'm going to put it on. So this Oxygenics is straight from Amazon. You can get it linked down below, and it supposedly saves the amount of water you're coming in. And I'm going to do a test just to prove or disprove that. I'm going to turn on my water at the current water pressure rate, and I'm going to let it flow for an amount of time, and then I'm going to change out the thing. I'm going to let it flow for the exact same amount of time and talk about the pressure and see if it fills the same volume of water. All right, so I've got the standard hose here. I'm hooked to city water, so I have a constant pressure. And I'm going to turn this on for exactly 1 minute. Pressure's not bad coming out of here. It's a clean. Now, I clean my system out with vinegar pretty regularly, so I think that keeps the hard water stains out. And we have the water filtration system from Blue Tech and the water softener from Blue Tech, so that also makes a difference. You may not be able to go a whole minute. 41 seconds it took it to get to the top of the tape on here. Now this whole system comes with a new hose, which this one's plastic and is slick. It looks like the other one, but it's slick on the outside. It's just a little plastic chrome plated thing inside of it. So I'm going to leave the one that's on there, and I'm just going to trade out the head. And it has this wand that I can double-sided tape up there, and it has your on-off valve. All you gotta do is unscrew the one you have on there. Okay. Now we are ready to do our test again. 42 seconds. Check out the pressure coming from this one. Sorry, 41.4. All right, there's 42 seconds. So the spray pattern is there. It's a different spray pattern. Again, I just shut that off. It doesn't completely shut off the water coming through there. I'll do that up here. Let it drain. So it's about a ½ an inch lower in this bucket than it was with the other spray head. So I'll let Blair be the judge when she showers with this thing first of all. I'll hang on to this just in case. Again, this is a Delta faucet Moen mixing valve. So it is less water coming out the head, and we'll have to see how she likes it washing out her hair. And if you really want to do this, you can not put that other hose up. You can just take this thing and put it right here between the valve and the hose where it used to be, and you don't have to change out your holder up top. So until I know we're completely satisfied with it, I'm just going to do that. Here you can see I have the original hose, original holder part, and the new shutoff valve and the new shower head. So I'm gonna take a shower, see how it works out. Shower complete. The spray pattern is different. It's like a cone instead of the individual water streams coming out. The pressure seems fine. It is definitely less water, and it washed out shampoo and all the stuff off of me fine. So we'll see how Blair likes it in a couple days when she's back in the rig.
No, it's not good enough for me.
It's not.
No,
It's not meeting your criteria.
it doesn't. I have to stand there twice as long to rinse out my hair.
Yeah.